peace was good. Welcome to a new video. You read the title, you know what I'm gonna talk about. It's gonna be a DVD update. It's gonna be like, DVDs I bought from like September all the way up to last Friday that just passed. Alright. Without further ado, show you the DVDs I copped. These are both Blu-ray and DVDs, alright? So check it out. First DVD or Blu-ray I want to show is Phantasm 2, released in 1988. I wasn't too familiar with the Phantasm series. I mean, I knew about it, but I didn't really check it out like that. But Scream Factory, I fucking love Scream Factory. You know, they've been putting in mad work as far as like, restoring the the classic movies and putting like mad extra features and shit like that. And that's why a lot of people like Scream Factory because they really do their homework and they just put in like mad work into it, and I fucking love Scream Factory, and I'm definitely will be supporting them. But yeah, this Phantasm 2, I bought this at FYE used. I was looking to find it. I was like, oh shit, let me get this shit. I think I got it for like $15.99 or $17.99, but it was used. Like I said, I was like, I couldn't pass it up. Yeah, Phantasm 2. Have not watched it yet, but definitely be checking it out. I wanted to get the first one, but it's not on Blu-ray. It's not out on Blu-ray yet, so I'm gonna wait till it comes out on Blu-ray, or I'll just buy the regular version and then just get it on. Wait till it comes out on Blu-ray and get it. But yeah, this is Phantasm 2, released in 1988. And we got Terror Train, released in 1980. A very dope movie, in my opinion, very underrated. People don't really. People do talk about it, but it's not really like up there with like Halloween or Friday the 13th. People just kind of like, I don't know, kind of like not diss it, but just don't put it up there with them. But yeah, it's pretty much about this guy who's part of a fraternity who gets pranked, but the prank goes wrong, and he gets hurt real bad. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. And so it's New Year's. New Year's is coming up. It's like New Year's Eve, and these same college students are going on a train, like on a school trip. Not a school trip, but like a trip, like somewhere. I don't know where they were going, but it was like a New Year's party on the train, and there's like a mass killer killing all the college students one by one. So if you think of like Halloween meets Amtrak, you'll get Terror Train, and you'll see like a very young David Copperfield. All my people that's into magic, you guys should be familiar with David Copperfield. Yeah, this is a dope movie. It definitely has like a cult following, but like I said, it's not, it's not as obviously not as big as like Halloween. But this is definitely worth a check. Like if you guys like Halloween, if you like Jamie Lee Curtis, I would definitely recommend checking this movie out. Terror Train, 1980. Then we got I Spit on Your Grave. This is released in 1978. This is pretty much about a female writer from New York who travels to like a remote cabin back in Connecticut, and she gets stalked by these 4 dudes, man, real thirsty ass dudes, man. It's like pretty much brutally raped her. The rape scene is very like disturbing. It's like, damn, like how could they make a movie like this, especially for 1978? You know what I mean? But even though movies back then were kind of shocking, but yeah, and then she definitely gets her revenge, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. But yeah, this is the original version. I remember when I first seen this back in the early 2000s. I had the VHS version, and I was so disgusted with the film. Like, not like, oh, it's bad. Like, I was disgusted. Like, damn, like, it just scared the shit out of me. Like, I threw that shit in the garbage, man. And I never seen it since. But I was like, you know what? Let me go cop this. And I saw her Blu-ray. I was like, yo, I got it for like $19.99 at FYE. So I was like, yo, let me get this. But yeah, very dope. Even the remake is dope. I know there's a part 2 that they came out. I think in 2012 or 2013, if I'm not mistaken. But I haven't seen it yet. But the remake that came out in 2010 or 2009, whatever. Mad brutal, man. Like, it's very good. I highly recommend it. But yes, I Spit in Your Grave. Definitely another movie that has like a somewhat of a cult following. Definitely check it out. 1978. Then we got Day of the Dead, the original, released in 1985. This is another Scream Factory release. This came out, I believe in August of 2013 or September. But yeah, I bought this. I was like, yo, I had to get it. I have the Ultimate Edition. I might just get rid of that, and yeah, I might get rid of that, and it's just like just keep this. But yeah, classic movie. You know, a lot of people prefer this over Dawn. Some people prefer Dawn over this. Some people prefer Night of the Living Dead. But like I said before, what I like in the last video the last DVD update I did, what I like about this Dead series is that in Night of the Living Dead you get the reflection of the 60s, in Dawn of the Dead you get the reflection of the 70s, and this you definitely get a reflection in the 80s. So you actually feel those eras, like damn, like you're really in those eras. And I think Romero's a genius in that. I think that's something that kind of get overlooked in a sense. But yeah, very dope movie. A lot of people complain about this movie. It's like a little bit too much dialogue, which I could agree, but it builds up. The graphics on this movie is phenomenal. Like the makeup, like it's very gory. It's just ill. And Bub, that's the man. That's all I'm gonna say. Bub is right here. He's that dude. That's all I'm gonna say. Day of the Dead released in 1985. Then we got Menace to Society, released in 1993. What can I say, man? It's just like a gangster, up and coming gangster. You know, just trying to figure out how his life is going about. You know, this is a dope movie, man. This is definitely a dope classic gangster movie, man. This is a great movie. It's not my favorite, but I would definitely put this as a classic. I know, yeah, this shit right here, man. Like, I mean, it definitely shows you how LA was back in the early '90s. You know, it was really bad. It might not be as bad as it was before, because a lot of places are calming down. You know, the police, they're doing a great job cracking down on gang violence and shit like that. Although Chicago, on the other hand, it's sad, man, what they're going through over there right now with the gang violence and shit. But at least places like New York and probably LA is like not as bad as like they used to be. But I mean, don't sleep. I mean, if you get caught slipping, obviously you're gonna get got. But yeah, this movie right here, very dope. It looks great on Blu-ray. The sound is dope. If you got a nice system, you definitely will enjoy this movie. That's what I like about Blu-ray. Like, they really enhance the sound and stuff like that. The quality, picture quality. All those, there's been you know, debate. Like sometimes the Blu-rays, sometimes their transfer is like straight off the DVD or the VHS, so it's like not as good. I don't know, it depends, you know what I mean? But yeah, this movie, I highly recommend checking out. You like gangster hood movies from the early 90s. Then we got Goodfellas, released in 1990. Definitely one of my all-time favorite mafia movies, if not my favorite mafia movie. Besides, you know, the Godfather, the first two are my favorites. Part 3 was, it was alright. It's very slept on, I do admit, but I don't know, it just wasn't for me. But getting back to this shit right here is definitely a must own by anybody, man. If you're a movie critic or a movie fan, you should have this in your collection. Joe Pesci, I mean Ray Liotta, Lorraine Bracco, who played the therapist in The Sopranos. I mean, Robert De Niro. I mean, fucking Paul Sorvino. I mean, great A-list actors, man. I mean, a very young what's his name? Chris Montesanti. His real name in real life, I forgot. I think it's Michael Imperiali. I think his name is. Yeah, I forgot. But he's in this movie too. I mean, fucking A-list actors, man. I mean, I wish they made movies again, because, you know, the actors nowadays, they really don't know how to act. You just have a nice pretty face and bam, you're a great actor. And that's what I fucking hate. Back then, like, these cats had passion in their craft, and it shows in movies like this. And like when you see them, you really think they're fucking mobsters, you know what I mean? But yeah, Goodfellas released in 1990. Pretty much this is basically the autobiography of Henry Hill, this Irish Sicilian mobster who became a rat and shit like that. But yeah, highly recommend it. Pick it up. Then we got Battle Royale, released in 2000. This movie is pretty much about a group of high school kids that's just getting out of school, like right after school, or I think they were going to like a trip or whatever. But it's one of those they took a wrong turn type of things, and they pretty much get kidnapped, and you know, like they're in a bus, they get gassed, like it was like a sleeping gas that, you know, knocked them out, and then they're like taken to this remote island, and like pretty much in order to survive, you know, they're supposed to kill each other, and so like you have like the last standing person, like 3 people left or some shit like that, or the last standing person, last man standing type of thing. It's pretty good, man. I highly recommend it. The only thing that pissed me off is that in the tagline it says, if you love the Hunger Games, Battle Royale set the stage, which pissed me off because you know, they make it seem like Hunger Games came out first, and you know what I'm saying, like, oh, like, you know, Battle Royale kind of, you know, stole from Hunger Games. But if anything, Hunger Games stole from Battle Royale. But, you know, although, like, the author of Hunger Games claimed that she didn't even know about Battle Royale. That may be true, I don't know. But, I don't know, I'm just biased. I guess this is a bias to me in this when it comes to this film. But, yeah, highly recommend it. But I can see why they put that, because, you know, like, if people that like the Hunger Games, they want more of that movie, you might want to check out Battle Royale. So that's probably a good way of seeing it. But I don't know, that's just me being, I guess, not a fanboy, but just me being a fan, I guess, whatever. But yeah, highly recommend it, man. This is a shocking movie. It's a movie that, you know, that couldn't be made in America. I mean, Hunger Games to me was like kind of like, I didn't see Hunger Games, so I can't really talk shit about it, but I can tell it's definitely not as brutal as this movie. I'm just gonna leave it at that. But yeah, this is Battle Royale, released in 2000. There is a part 2. I haven't seen it, but I haven't heard good things about it. But I still want to check it out anyways. But yeah, Battle Royale. Too much time I got left. Yeah, man. Try to do this quick. Alright, you got Door Going in the House, released in 1980. Well, I should say 1979, because it came out in 1979. But yeah, pretty much if you like movies like Maniac or Psycho, you'll definitely enjoy this film. This is Door Going in the House, very dope film. Definitely has a cult following as well. A lot of people like I said, people compare it to Maniac. They're very close with each other, but I feel like, even though this movie is very bleak and grim, but Maniac, man, is like on a whole different level. Maniac is like this movie times 10. It's more brutal and shit, but it's the same concept where, like, you know, his mom abused him, you know, when he was a child, excuse me, and, you know, he has a deep hatred for women because of it, you know what I mean? Same thing with Maniac. So if you guys seen some Maniac, you guys know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I highly recommend it. It stars Dan Grimaldi, who played what's his name? In The Sopranos. I forgot his name, but yeah, he's in this movie. It's actually his first movie, and he did a great job. So yeah, definitely check it out. This movie is out of print, but I got it off eBay, I think, for like $10, but I was like, yeah, I had to go cop it before it goes really out of print. But it's definitely out of print, but if you get it for a cheap price, go pick it up. And we got House by the Cemetery, released in 1981. Blue Underground, fucking love Blue Underground. They definitely do their thing. As far as like releasing movies, like old movies, and restoring them, and with the extras and all that. They deal with a lot of exploitation films, a lot of, you know, B movies and stuff like that. But yeah, House by the Cemetery, very dope. It's pretty much about this family that goes into this haunted house by what's his name? Freudstein, who did, like, you know, human experiments back in the, I think in the 18th century or some shit like that. And the house that the family moved into was his old house, and and he's still alive, and you know it's like the house is haunted, and it's pretty dope, man. It definitely has like a real creepy atmospheric feel to it. Dope score, and by the way, this is an Italian film by Lucio Fulci, so obviously it's gonna be dubbed. So but yeah, this is a very good movie, man. The only thing is, like, everybody knows this. If you guys are familiar with this film, is that fucking kid in his voice, man. It makes, like, when he screamed, yo, I was dying laughing. That shit had me rolling. But yeah, House by the Cemetery, released in 1981. Pick it up if you like you know, haunted movies, like haunted house movies, and you know, zombie type films. But yeah, very dope. Very brutal, very cruel in a sense. This movie, it kind of starts off a little bit slow. It could be a little boring, but then it picks up by like after like 45 minutes. So, but yeah, House by the Cemetery, released in 1981. Then we got Gene Hackman's French Connection Part 2, released in 1975. This movie pretty much leaves off from the first one. If you guys have seen the first one, then you'll know what I'm talking about. Pretty much the French Connection was like a movement back in the I want to say from the 60s to like the early 70s, where you had like drug couriers from France coming to the United States and like going to places like Turkey, I believe Israel if I'm not mistaken, obviously to the United States, you know, just bringing in drugs into the country. Like heroin was big back in those days, and pretty much, you know, Popeye Doyle, played by Gene Hackman, you know, goes after this drug courier, and he's chasing him throughout the first movie. Obviously, he doesn't catch him, so he goes to France to go get at him, and it's a dope twist because in this movie he actually gets hooked on heroin by accident. Well, not by accident, by force, because he gets kidnapped and then they just doping him up and shit like that. And just see him trying to get off heroin, like it's a really powerful movie. Yeah, I highly recommend this movie. It's not the best, but it's not the worst either. I prefer the first one. I do need to get the first one. I don't have that in my collection. But yeah, French Connection, released in 1975. Pick it up. Then we got Brooklyn's Finest, released in Brooklyn's Finest, released in 2010. 2010. To sum it up, I consider this like the hood version of Crash, the movie Crash that came out back in 2004, where, you know, like you had 3 different characters with 3 different storylines, but they end up meeting each other some way, somehow, some way. Pretty fucking dope. Yeah, this is pretty much that, and that's what I got out of this movie. Takes place in Brownsville, Brooklyn. Very rough, notorious neighborhood. I'm actually from Brownsville. I was born in Brownsville, but like I said, I was raised in Queens. But yeah, takes place in Brownsville. A lot of people shitted on this movie when it first came out because, you know, a lot of people want to compare it to like Training Day, because Antoine Fuqua, who did Training Day, directed this film. And, you know, a lot of people like want to try to compare it to Training Day, or like they was like, oh, it's trying to be like Training Day, it's trying to be like Crash, and oh, it was like horribly done. I'm like, I thought the movie was dope. I like it, man. I mean, I like it a lot. You know, it's like, and I could relate to it. You know, it's like I've seen shit like that happening. You know, niggas selling drugs, and you know, dudes beating dudes up, and people stabbing each other. You know, it's crazy. You know, like I could relate to that. You know, I mean, yeah, you know, it's just crazy, man. If you grew up in the hood, then you can't relate to this. That's how I see it. That's how I see it. But yeah, dope performances by everybody. Edward. What's his name? Ethan Hawke. Ethan Hawke. You know, Don Cheadle, Richard Gere. I mean, fucking dope, man. I mean, highly recommend it, man. I like it. Some people might not like it, but just see it for yourself. Check it out. Then we got the Ripper Blood Pack, the 3-pack, which comes with 3 movies. The Ripper, Blood Cult, and Revenge. I bought this movie based on the Blood Cult movie, just because I'm a fan of slasher films. You guys should know that. But the Ripper, it's pretty much a take on Jack the Ripper, but in modern times. Sum it up, the movie is fucking horrible. I mean, I had one of my subscribers one of my friends on Facebook, he was telling me that the movie The Ripper, there was a fan, I guess, that went to a horror movie convention, and he saw Tom Savini, because Tom Savini plays the Ripper in the movie, and I guess he had a VHS version of the tape of the movie, and then it's fucked up, but it's kind of funny at the same time. He gave the tape to Tom Savini to sign, and Tom Savini's like, nah, burn it. I was like, damn. I don't know how true that is. Please somebody let me know about that. It's fucked up, but it's kind of funny at the same time. Yeah, that movie was horrible, and yeah, I kind of agree with Tom Savini. Most of the time, I would say he's a dick for saying some shit like that, but in this case, I would have to agree with him. But yeah, that was horrible. Then Blood Cult, pretty much is about, a killer. It's kind of like a who did it type of thing, like killings going on around the college campus and stuff like that. It was alright, it wasn't too bad. It was not the best. It was very gory in a sense for what it was. Not like, maniac gory, but a lot of blood into it. It was very low-fi, very low budget. So if you're not really into like handheld films, like straight to video type of movies, then you'll definitely won't enjoy these kind of movies. Blood Cult, I thought it could have been a little bit better, but the violence was alright. Could have been a little bit better. Then you have Revenge that came out a year later, which is like the sequel to Blood Cult. But you could kind of see Blood Cult had like somewhat of more of a budget, but it still wasn't as good in my opinion. I feel like it could have been a little bit gorier than Blood Cult. Blood Cult was a lot bloodier. But yeah, I just picked these up because like I said, I'm a fan of slasher films. But yeah, if you could find this, pick this up. I got this off eBay, so this is the eBay pickup. So yeah. Then we got A Better Tomorrow. Supposedly this is supposed to be the remake or the new take on A Better Tomorrow that came out in 1986. I do have that movie, but it's in Cantonese, so it's like the original. Excuse me. But this is a Korean film, so it's not Chinese. It's not a Chinese film. It's a Korean film. Because the cast is Korean. This movie was alright. It wasn't too bad. It was a little boring at times. It had a lot of action and stuff like that, but I don't know. I was just kind of bored with this film. I thought it could have been a little bit better. That's just me, but ain't nothing like the original. I have to see the other ones, like part 2 and 3. I haven't seen those yet, so. But yeah, I definitely want to get my hands on those. But yeah, Better Tomorrow. Like I said, if you like the original, I guess check this one out. But I just wasn't a fan of this movie. Then we got the remake of the Crazies, released in 2010. This was actually a mistake because I actually ordered the original, but the person ended up sending me the remake, and I guess that was kind of my fault because the way he had it was like, this 1973. So I clicked on the picture, like the album, the movie cover of the 1973 version, which I wanted, but then he ended up sending me this one, and whatchamacallit. But it should have been my fault because I should have looked at the cast on the movie, so that was my mistake. But lesson learned, one of those things. But yeah, this is actually pretty good, man. It's pretty much like kind of like a Night of the Living Dead, but with a nuclear reaction type of thing. That's what I got out of it. Yeah, very dope movie. I like it a lot. Very interesting. Very different from George Romero, but yeah, very dope, very gory. It's kind of creepy in a sense, but yeah, I highly recommend it. Pick it up. Then we got Night School, released in 1980, excuse me. Rachel Ward's first movie that she's ever done. Overall, this movie could have been a little bit better in my opinion. What I didn't like about the movie is that, the kills were kind of repetitive, and you didn't really get to see the person actually get killed. Like, you see, like, the killer about to kill the person, but it just goes to the next scene, which kind of pisses me off. It's pretty much a turn off, but What I like about the film was the score. The score is done by Brad Fiedel, the same person that did the Terminator series. So if you guys are familiar with his scores, then you'll know what to expect. That real grimy synthesizer that I love. But yeah, Night School released in 1980, and I'm gonna cut it short. This is gonna be part one, cause I got a lot more DVDs, so I'm gonna cut it short and make it part two. I'm gonna probably do part two tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. Peace.